The Cleveland Cavaliers have won 17 out of their last 19 games, and over this stretch, Donovan Mitchell has been on an absolute tear. In this video, we're going to do a deep dive on the film to see exactly how he's doing it. Now, the first thing we have to go over with Mitchell's game is going to be his ability to put pressure on the rim. For all guards across the league, Mitchell is one of the most efficient and high-volume paint scorers. Donovan is obviously well known for being a rocket athlete, while also having a really quick first step on the perimeter. Watch him here simply pound the ball with his right hand and transfer his weight to his left foot to then explode right past Westbrook into this layup. Now, Mitchell's also a pretty accurate shooter from range, which we'll go into more detail later, but that outside threat pulls defensive coverages out beyond the three, which then opens up these easy blow-bys for Mitchell. You'll see Plumlee here jump out to meet Donovan from beyond the three, and from this spot, Donovan is just going to take one dribble towards the sideline to get himself outside of Plumlee's frame, to then cut the angle back downhill and give himself a clear driving lane. Now, on top of all those physical tools, Mitchell also has really good ball and body control. In the open court, Mitchell is elite at shifting his weight side to side to carve out attacking angles. You'll see him here playing with the ball in transition, and watch him push the rock across to his right, to then pound it and shift all his weight to his left foot, which moves the defense out of his frame, giving him a lane to extend into. And on paper, this move is not a travel, because Mitchell is going to use this step as his gather, which legally allows him to use 2 more steps into his finish. The balance and body control on this play is pretty crazy, where Mitchell is again handling the ball in transition, and he's going to initially get to this right hand in and out. And when this defender slides over to cut off Mitchell's drive, Donovan is going to transition into a spin move and land on 2 feet to elevate up for a balanced finish. And that body control also transfers over to Mitchell's game in the half court, where he's able to both use his handle to break down the defense, to then knife his way through traffic to create a finishing angle. Watch Donovan here float up and turn his head, selling as if he's coming off these stagger screens. Then watch how he pushes the ball across his frame into this overcross. Then, as this big rotates over, watch how Mitchell is going to chop his feet, to then jump off his ball side foot for this high arcing layup. You'll see Donovan again here refuse the screen, and notice how he gets Keegan Murray's hips to open up and pretty much be squared up with the baseline. So in response, watch how Mitchell is going to decelerate off his right foot, which causes Murray to slide right past him, giving Mitchell plenty of space to step across into a finish. When attacking into gaps, Donovan is really good at using space and angles to carve out finishes. You'll see him here drop down to his go-to right to left crossover, and notice how he takes this wide banana route out, to then cut the angle back in and get himself in front of the defense, giving himself a clean window to finish. We can see the same thing here, where Mitchell is going to hit another right to left crossover, and watch how he veers back across to get himself in front of the defense, to now get this finish on the other side of the rim. I love this move here, where Mitchell drops down into a Tim Hardaway combo to then cut back across and maneuver himself in front of the defense to get into another finish. Mitchell's also really good at manipulating the ball to slice through tight gaps. Watch him here gather the ball up to step right past the help side and stride into a finish. You'll see him do the same thing here, where Mitchell is going to initially beat Harden on the perimeter to then get back to that high pickup and knife through traffic into this layup. When playing downhill, I also think Mitchell has really underrated strength. Watch him here pick up momentum by skipping off his left foot, to then replant it and push himself into a drive. And notice how easily he moves this defender off his spot by putting his shoulder into his body and bouncing him back. Mitchell also loves to seek out contact into his finishes. Watch him here break down the first line of defense by going between and transferring all his weight to his outside foot, to then bring the ball back through and create an easy driving lane. And when this big rotates over to take away the rim, watch how Mitchell is going to elevate off of 2 feet and jump right into this big's body. And from this spot, Mitchell has the body control to bring the ball around and put up this soft layup. And that physicality also extends out to the perimeter. Watch Donovan here push the ball into this overcross, and notice how he gets this defender to open up by driving right through their shoulder. Then Mitchell is going to again attack across the paint and elevate up off of 2 feet. Except instead of attacking the shot blocker's body, Mitchell is going to bring the ball back across to his left for the finish. Now, if teams really sag back and try to take away Mitchell's deep paint scoring, that's when you'll commonly see him rise up into these floaters. And again, all these shots come back to Mitchell's strength and body control with the ball. You'll see him here turn the corner off the screen, and watch him hit this drop big with an in and out, to then stop on a dime with his next dribble stepping right left, to rise up for a stable in-rhythm floater. On this play, you'll see Donovan get the switch against Damian Lillard, and watch how he first attacks towards the middle with this crossover, to then veer back with this left-right Euro step. And as Mitchell gets into these steps, notice how he's able to both push the defense's momentum back while keeping himself on balance, which gives him a window to rise up into this runner. Now the next thing we have to go over is Mitchell's outside shooting, and more specifically his 3-point shooting off the dribble. Donovan is one of those rare players that shoots a higher percentage off the dribble compared to off the catch. And I think the biggest reason for that is that Donovan simply takes threes off the dribble in super high volume. Now most of Mitchell's pull-up threes come out of pick and roll, where he's very comfortable rising up going both right and left, allowing him to punish any soft coverage by the defense. Notice on this play how Jalen Duren is sagged back well below the 3, which allows Mitchell to simply dribble into this open space and rise up for the jumper. 28 shots, Mitchell has an answer again. I also think Mitchell is really good at setting up these screens, being able to both use his physicality to initiate contact and run his man off the pick, as well as use his crisp handle to set up angles. Notice here how Jared Allen is going to flip the screen to allow Mitchell to come off towards his left with a pull-up. But watch how Mitchell is initially going to set the screen up by getting the defense leaning with this right to left crossover, which puts his man completely out of position and causes him to run into the screen. Donovan is also more than comfortable creating 3-point looks in isolation, where he likes to use the threat of his downhill driving to create space for his pull-ups. Now, like we previously saw, one of Mitchell's favorite moves is his simple right to left crossover. But if defenders overplay his drive, Mitchell can transition into a step back off this move. You'll see him here look to refuse the screen by again dropping down into this right to left crossover. But when the defense drops back and sits on his drive, watch how Mitchell is going to push off his right foot and separate back into a 3. I also think Mitchell has really good lower body strength, which allows him to aggressively attack angles to get the defense to open up, to then slam the brakes and separate back for shots. Watch Donovan here catch and attack towards his right, and notice how he gets this defender to rotate and completely open up his hips. So in response, Mitchell is going to slam the brakes by planting off his right foot and snatching the ball through to create space. And that lower body strength also allows Donovan to settle his feet back behind the line, to then rise up for a stable jumper. So with the ball, Mitchell has this dual threat of being able to both shoot the ball from range while having the ability to attack downhill, and this makes the game for Mitchell pretty straightforward. If teams come up to pressure him from beyond the 3, that's going to open up his attacking game. But if teams try to sag back to take away Mitchell's paint scoring, that's going to open up his pull-up shooting. And then on top of that, Donovan's also really good at playing with pace to set up both of these options. We went over how Mitchell is able to leverage his downhill scoring to create space for his jumpers, but in return, he can also use his outside shooting to set up his driving. And this is where Donovan's pace and rhythm with the ball becomes a major factor. You'll see him here playing against Giannis one-on-one, and watch him skip up and put his eyes on the rim, which gets Giannis to slightly lean forward, setting up this downhill drive. We can see the same thing here, where Mitchell lifts up both his chest and eyes, which pulls Damian out towards the 3, setting up another blow-by. So Mitchell is pretty clearly showing that he has enough scoring punch with the ball that the Cavs can run a big chunk of their offense through him and find plenty of success. And on top of all that scoring, Mitchell is also averaging a career high in assists. But the question still remains of just how good is his team, and can the play of Donovan Mitchell take the Cavs deep into the playoffs? If you want to support this channel directly, feel free to check out my Patreon for exclusive breakdowns. But regardless, I still appreciate you stopping by, and I'll see you on the next one. The Kids here.